Hello. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your gradebook for Schoology so that you can sync it with PowerSchool. So there's two things we'll have to do. We do have to set up our gradebook in Schoology, which means to set up our categories, and we'll also have to configure those categories so that they are going to the appropriate item in your PowerSchool account. Perhaps you've already created categories in PowerSchool, so you'll want to map that the exact way. First, let's go to my grade setup. In the top of the page, at the top of the page, there are categories. I'll click on the Add button, and I'm going to create something called Homework. And then I will repeat it for Classwork. And I will also have one called Tests. And lastly, I'll have writing assignments and projects. And I'll create. So I have 4 categories. There may be other assignments that I have in my course that I will never have as a part of my Schoology assignments. There may be performances and things that kids do with other projects that I just won't ever have. So it's a good indicator that Schoology is not the only gradebook or the final gradebook that teachers may have. But for now, I am demonstrating 4 categories that I'm going to use. And I do teach multiple sections, so I'm going to click on Copy Settings so that I can easily just add these categories, grading scales, and even rubrics down the road to these other courses that I teach. So I'm going to scroll into and add to my other section. So I can click on this and click Copy so that all of the category types are the same for each course. Perfect. Next, I'm going to drop down to PowerSchool so that now I can direct Schoology to communicate with PowerSchool. It's a one-way street. This is only going from one item to the other and not in reverse. So if you do grade assignments in Schoology, you do need to make sure that you update your zeros to 100s, for example, when a student turns something in. You'll notice on my screen, I have already created my PowerSchool categories, and I do have an additional item that I will not use in Schoology. So I'm going to leave that blank. But for now, I will make sure that anything that I title as a classwork category in Schoology will be mapped to the classwork PowerSchool category, and so on. Once I'm all set, I can click Save Changes. Now, as a good example, I've already created a homework assignment. Maybe you have too. I need to make sure that my Schoology homework assignments are associated with a category so that it can be mapped back to PowerSchool. So let me just double check. I'm going to go over to Materials and find an assignment that I put out this week. I set it in my Week 2 folder. I colored it green. Green means go. I'll tap here and I will go to my out of school work. This is for my students to be working at home when they're not at school. I'm going to edit this assignment to be sure that my category matches my gradebook. And here is the background of that assignment, the instructions, a link. There was a PDF that their students are going to work on and Notability to send back. I have my points all set up. I need to put in a due date. I'm going to have my assignment due next Wednesday the 23rd, and I'm going to call this a homework assignment. Notice my naming system, marking period 1, homework 1, and then the title. Parents will really appreciate this to keep it right in order. So some sort of naming system that you use consistently throughout your course will be really helpful to your students. I'll tap Save Changes, and then I'll go back to PowerSchool and see if I can sync my assignments over to PowerSchool itself. So it's waiting for me. It says not synced yet. So this is one of the things, a little nuance of Schoology, that you have to actually sync the changes as you're ready to do that. So it's a good practice after you've maybe scored your papers, your assignments, so that eventually the kids will get that. So that is how you set up your gradebook. copy to other courses in Schoology, and then link to PowerSchool. I hope this helps.